Welcome again to Truevenge Chronicles, where we tell revenge stories that feel real, fast, and unforgettable. Today's story is for anyone who has ever worked late, stayed humble, and watched someone else take the praise. In Melbourne, Australia, I built a plan that saved my company millions, and my own sister stepped forward to claim it. But here's the thing. Numbers remember, files record, and an audit never cares who smiles the best. Stay to the end, because the comeback is public, clean, and impossible to deny. So grab a seat, breathe deep, and enjoy the story of the day.
I live in Melbourne, Australia, in a narrow brick townhouse in Brunswick, where the tram rattles my windows at 6:12 every morning. I'm Aria Wexford, 33, a process analyst at Kestrel Harbour Logistics. I'm the person who turns chaos into checklists, the one who can stare at a spreadsheet and hear where money is leaking. I don't like attention. I like results. My older sister, Sloane Wexford, loves attention the way some people love oxygen. She's 36, a senior operations manager at the same company, always in bright blazers, always in the right photo. She speaks in clean headlines, smiles like she's already won, and treats my quiet work like a free buffet. I got hired here 3 years ago after my divorce. Sloane said she was helping me start fresh. What she didn't say was that her help came with strings. If I succeeded, she wanted to be seen beside it. If I struggled, she wanted to be the one who rescued me. Either way, I stayed smaller than her. My direct manager is Priya Nand, 41, calm, observant, and stubborn in a good way. She runs business improvement and believes the floor staff usually know the truth first. The CFO, Malcolm Reyes, 52, is the company's quiet gravity. He hates fluff, hates vague promises, and loves one thing: proof. That summer, our delivery costs were exploding. Late penalties were rising, overtime was out of control, and customers were threatening to leave. The CEO, Grant Holloway, demanded a fix before the next quarter call. Priya brought me into her glass office and slid a folder across her desk. "We need a routing model that actually matches reality," she said. "Not a shiny deck, a working plan." "I can build it," I told her. For 8 weeks, I lived inside the problem. I rode with drivers at dawn and watched them argue with navigation apps that didn't understand Melbourne's roadworks. I stood on the warehouse floor at midnight and counted pallets with cold fingers. I listened to dispatchers complain about broken scanners, outdated rules, and the same mistakes repeating because no one owned the whole chain. I built a model that linked 3 things our system kept separate: customer promise windows, warehouse pick times, and truck capacity. It wasn't fancy. It was honest. It showed what happened if we shifted the order cutoff by 20 minutes, or adjusted the northern loop to smaller vehicles, or changed the pick path layout. It also showed the cost of doing nothing in brutal numbers. One afternoon, Priya leaned over my laptop as I ran the latest simulation. The cost line dropped like a cliff. "That's real," she whispered. "It's annual savings," I said. "Fuel down, overtime down, late penalties down. The plan pays for itself in weeks." Priya straightened. "We present to the exec team Thursday. And Aria, you're in the room." My pride should have lifted me. Instead, a warning bell rang. Sloane would be there. That night, my sister called. "Hey, little sis," she said, cheerful. "I heard you've got a big presentation. Priya asked me to show my model," I said. "Perfect," Sloane replied. "Send me the deck so I can polish the story. Those rooms love story." "There is no deck," I said. "It's a working file." A pause. Then her voice turned sweet. "Aria, you know execs interrupt. Let me help you. I'm good at rooms." Help! That word again, like a soft hand over my mouth. "I'll be fine," I said. "Okay," she answered, but it sounded like a decision. On Thursday, I arrived early, wearing a plain navy dress and my father's old watch. I set up my laptop, tested the projector, and opened the file name I'd used since version 1. Aria, routing, model, V7, baseline tab ready. Scenarios ready. Risk controls ready. At 9:30, the boardroom filled. Grant, the CEO, slid in, phone still buzzing. Malcolm Reyes took a seat with coffee and a pen. Jenna Pritchard from HR arrived with her polite smile. Priya sat beside me like a quiet shield. Then Sloane swept in. Bright blazer, glossy hair, confidence like perfume. "You look nervous," she whispered near my ear. "I'm focused," I said. Grant clapped once. All right, we're bleeding on deliveries. Priya says we've got a fix. Priya nodded toward me. Arya built a working model that connects dispatch, warehouse, and fleet capacity. It's actionable. Malcolm's eyes moved to me. Show us. I began. I explained the baseline costs and the drivers. I showed how overtime spiked because dispatch promised too late, and warehouse picked too late, and trucks waited too long. I opened scenario A. The line dropped again. Then Sloane spoke. Smooth as oil. Exactly, she said, leaning toward Grant. This is what I've been pushing for. End-to-end thinking. Not silo decisions. Grant nodded at her. Right. I kept going. I opened scenario B. I explained the cutoff shift and the northern loop change. Sloane cut in again. And it won't hurt sales, she said brightly. Promises stay the same, we just stop overcommitting behind the scenes. My throat tightened. She was stealing the microphone in inches, not miles. I answered Malcolm's questions with data and kept my voice steady, because I could feel the room's attention sliding toward my sister's shine. When I opened the final tab, the one with projected annual savings and a phased plan, Sloane stood. If we execute this, she announced, operations can deliver $6.3 million annually. My team can implement cutoff changes in 2 weeks and realign the northern loop immediately. We'll track KPIs daily. My mouth went dry. Grant smiled. That's the leadership I want. Thank you, Sloane. Priya's face tightened. Malcolm's eyes narrowed like he'd smelled smoke. Jenna from HR scribbled something without looking up. I forced out words. The model. Sloane waved a hand like she was helping me. Arya did the analysis work, she said lightly. But execution is the key. I've already spoken to dispatch about change management. She hadn't. Dispatch talked to me at midnight, not to her at brunch. Grant tapped the table. Sloane, draft the implementation plan for Monday. Malcolm, partner with her on tracking. Priya, support. Quick pause, friend. Are you enjoying this story so far? Or is your blood already boiling like mine was? Be honest in the comments. If you were in my shoes right now, what would you do? Confront Sloane in front of everyone, keep quiet and gather proof, or walk away from the job completely? I really want to know your move at this exact point, because this is where most people either explode or break. Would you protect your peace or protect the truth, even if it costs you family? And while you're here, tell me what you think about Truevenge Chronicles so far. Do you like the way these stories stay real, with clear details and consequences? If you're watching and you feel this kind of betrayal is real, please subscribe right now. Also, comment where you're watching from, and hit like so more people can find this story. I left the boardroom and walked straight to the bathroom on level 11. The quiet one no one used, unless a meeting ran long. I locked myself in a stall, sat down with my hands on my knees, and stared at the tile. I wasn't crying. I was trying not to. That was the worst part. I wanted to be strong, but the hurt was old, not new. Sloane had been doing this since we were kids. When I won a spelling contest, she told our relatives she helped me practice. When I got a scholarship, she said she taught me discipline. I let it slide because I wanted peace and because I thought being the real one was enough. When I came back out, Priya was waiting by the water fountain. I saw your face, she said. I'm sorry. I should have stopped her, I whispered. Stopping her in that room would have made you look emotional, Priya said. She would have smiled and called it teamwork. That's her trick. We walked back to our floor together. My inbox was filling with messages from people who had attended as observers. One dispatcher wrote, "Great job, Arya. That cutoff change makes sense." Another wrote, "Hope management listens." They knew who had done the work, even if leadership pretended not to. At 12:40 p.m., Sloane called a rapid alignment huddle with dispatch and warehouse supervisors. She didn't invite me. I only knew because Marcus Dwyer, a floor supervisor with grease under his nails and a soft heart, leaned over my desk. "Arya," he said, "Sloane's in Bay 3 talking about your model. She's saying we need to start tomorrow." My stomach dropped. Starting tomorrow with no training, no staging, no risk controls, was how you broke a system and blamed the person who built it. I walked to Bay 3 anyway. Sloane stood in front of a whiteboard, drawing arrows like she was inventing logistics. Jenna from HR was there too, arms folded, watching faces. Sloane saw me and smiled too brightly. "Perfect," she said. "Aria's here to support. Support. Again." I listened for 2 minutes and realized she was proposing the cutoff change without the staggered rollout, without the buffer plan for priority medical shipments, without the contingency for drivers already locked into union hours. She was skipping the safety rails because safety rails don't look heroic. I raised my hand like a student. "The model assumes a phase change," I said. "If we flip it overnight, we risk a backlog in Zone East." Sloane laughed. "Aria worries. That's why I'm here. To balance." Marcus looked at me, uneasy. Dispatchers shifted on their feet. Priya stepped into the doorway then, like she'd been summoned by instinct. Her voice was calm but firm. "We are not implementing anything until business improvement signs off," she said. "We will follow the controlled plan." Sloane's smile hardened. "Grant told me to draft the plan," she said. "And Malcolm told me to protect the numbers," Priya replied. "So, we'll protect them." Jenna from HR finally spoke. "Let's keep this collaborative." Priya didn't even look at her. "Controlled," she repeated. "Not chaotic." Sloane ended the huddle fast after that. As people walked away, her eyes stayed on me, like she was calculating her next move and who would believe it. Chairs scraped, phones came out, the meeting dissolved into deadlines and small talk, and I sat there with my hands still on my laptop like I could physically hold my work in place. Sloane leaned close as people filed out. "See?" she murmured. "You needed a translator." "A translator," I repeated. She smiled. "We're family. Don't be sensitive." After the last person left, Priya spoke low. "Do not confront her in the hallway," she warned. "I can't just let this happen," I whispered. "We won't," Priya said, "but we'll do it correctly. With proof. With audit." The word audit rang in my head all afternoon. At 2:17 p.m., Sloane emailed the exec team with a subject line that made my stomach turn. "My delivery cost reduction plan, next steps." Attached was a slide deck I had never seen. My name appeared once, in small text under data support. Her name was on the title page in bold. I didn't reply. I didn't cry. I opened a notebook and started a timeline. Because rage without structure is just noise. Thursday, 9:30 a. Sloane claimed 623M savings. Thursday, 2:17 p.m. Email sent, deck attached. My name minimized. Then I gathered proof the way I fix processes. Step by step, the model lived on our secured drive with version control. Every view, every edit, every comment logged. I pulled the access history. It showed I created it. I edited it. Priya viewed it. Dispatch supervisors commented. And Sloane opened it for the first time at 8:58 a.m. on Thursday, 30 minutes before the meeting. I exported the log and saved it to an encrypted folder. Next, I checked the deck metadata, created 11:03 a.m. Right after the meeting, on Sloane's laptop, screenshots copied straight from my tabs. Even my little typo in the word schedule was there, trapped like a fingerprint. That night, Sloane called, "Sweet as sugar." "You did great today," she said. "Proud of you." I let silence stretch. "You're proud." "Of course. And don't stress about the deck. I just needed to move fast. So I do the work and you wear it," I said. Calm because anger would feed her. Her tone sharpened. "Don't make it ugly. Remember who got you hired." I stared at the crack in my kitchen paint, the one I kept meaning to fix. "Good night, Sloane," I said, and ended the call. The next morning, Malcolm Reyes requested a one-on-one with Priya and me. The invite title was simple: Routing Model Clarifications. Malcolm sat behind a clean desk with no photos, no clutter, just a laptop and a pen lined up like soldiers. He looked at me and asked, "Who owns the model?" "Aria built it," Priya said. Malcolm didn't blink. "Sloane emailed the plan as hers." I swallowed. "She took credit," I said. Malcolm tapped his pen once. "I dislike confusion. Confusion costs money. Show me proof." I slid the logs across his desk. He read slowly. When he reached the line showing Sloane's first access, his jaw tightened. Priya added, "The slide deck metadata shows it was built from screenshots after the meeting." Malcolm leaned back. "We are running an internal audit on the delivery savings program and on the related reporting," he said. "Not for drama, for correction. If attribution is false, it becomes a risk. And I remove risks." My chest felt tight. "Will this blow up?" "It will correct," Malcolm said. "Correction is the point of audit." He looked at me again. "Continue refining the model and documenting impacts. Do not share edit access without approval. Keep your timeline, stay calm." When we left his office, Priya whispered, "You did the right thing." I nodded, but my hands were cold, because I knew Sloan would strike back before the audit could speak. At 10:15 a.m., HR head Jenna Pritchard messaged me. "Quick chat? Swing by my office." Jenna's office smelled like lemon cleaner and calm threats. She smiled warmly. "Arya, I've heard there's tension between you and Sloan. There's a disagreement about work attribution," I said. Jenna tilted her head. "Family dynamics can complicate professional communication. I'd hate for this to become a morale issue." "Teamwork," I thought. "Another word that means be quiet." "I'm focused on facts," I said, "and documentation." Her smile twitched. "Good. Keep it professional." That evening, Sloan appeared at my desk after most people left, when the floor was quiet and witnesses were rare. She leaned in, eyes bright. "Why is Malcolm sniffing around?" she asked softly. "I don't know what you mean," I said. She laughed. "Don't lie. You think you're clever because you found logs?" I said nothing. Her voice dropped. "Arya, you don't want to pick a fight with me. People like me. You." The words should have cut me. Instead, they cleared my head. "I'm the one who built the model," I said. Sloane's smile turned thin. "And I'm the one who will be believed." She walked away, leaving perfume in the air like a warning. I stared at my screen and wrote one more line in my notebook. "Let the audit speak." Then I saved every file twice and went home, ready for a war that would stay quiet until it wasn't. Part 2. Monday arrived hot in Docklands, and Sloan moved like she owned the win. I stayed quiet and worked because Malcolm's instruction was simple. Refine the model, document impacts, stay calm. Priya stood with me, and the teams waited to see whether truth or politics would win. Priya and I built a controlled rollout plan in a shared folder Sloan couldn't touch. We created checklists for dispatch, scripts for customer service, and a training schedule for warehouse supervisors. Marcus Dwyer helped me test pick paths in Bay 3, and a dispatcher named Layla Chen, 28, sharp and blunt, ran simulations with me after hours. Those people didn't care about credit. They cared about not getting yelled at by customers on Friday night. On Tuesday morning, an email went to my calendar from Internal Assurance. Kickoff meeting, delivery savings program audit. The inviter was Hugo Lin, 45, the head of Internal Assurance. I had met Hugo once in a hallway. He had the calm face of someone who had seen a lot of excuses and never fell for them. His reputation was simple. If you lied, he didn't shout. He documented. Then you disappeared. The kickoff was in a small conference room, not the big boardroom. Hugo sat at the end of the table with a laptop and a thick notebook. Malcolm was there too, which told me this was real. Priya sat beside me. Jenna Pritchard from HR arrived last, carrying a coffee like it was armor. And Sloan walked in 10 minutes late, smiling like she'd just stepped out of a magazine. "Sorry," she said, not sounding sorry. "I've been aligning leadership." Hugo didn't smile. "We'll start," he said. "This audit is focused on two things: financial accuracy of the projected savings and governance. That includes ownership of models, change controls, and reporting integrity." Sloan crossed her legs. "Happy to help," she said. Hugo clicked a folder open on his screen. "Good," he replied. "Because I have questions." He looked at me first. "Arya Wexford, you created the routing model?" "Yes," I said. "Where did the baseline data come from?" I answered clearly, citing systems, dates, and extracts. Hugo nodded and typed. Then he looked at Sloan. "Sloan Wexford, your email states the plan is your delivery cost reduction plan. What was your contribution to the model design?" Sloan's smile didn't move. "I provided operational direction," she said. "I helped translate technical work into executable steps." Hugo's eyes stayed steady. "Did you edit the model?" Sloan shrugged. "I reviewed it. Hugo turned his laptop so the table could see a screenshot of the access log. You opened it for the first time 30 minutes before the executive meeting, he said. Is that correct? A small silence fell. Sloane laughed softly. Well, yes, I'm busy. That's why I need people like Arya. People like Arya. Useful. Quiet. Background. Hugo didn't react to the jab. Understood, he said. We will verify source files, timestamps, and author metadata. We will also review communications that represent ownership. Until the audit is complete, changes will follow controlled access. No exceptions. Malcolm's voice cut in calm and sharp. That means no one is implementing changes outside the signed rollout plan. Sloane's jaw tightened. Of course, she said. After the kickoff, Sloane hissed threats in the hallway, and I kept walking. That week, the rollout began, controlled and careful. We shifted the cutoff by 10 minutes first. We trained the night shift on the new pick path layout. We adjusted the northern loop on 2 trucks, then 4, then 6. I tracked overtime, fuel, and late penalties daily. The numbers moved exactly the way the model predicted. That should have been enough to make me feel safe. But Sloane didn't attack the numbers. She attacked my credibility. On Thursday, Jenna Pritchard asked me to come to HR again. Her smile was softer than before, which worried me more. Arya, she said, we're hearing concerns that you're under stress. I blinked. Stress? Your sister mentioned you haven't been sleeping, Jenna continued, and that you've been fixated. We care about well-being. I stared at her. So this was the angle. If they couldn't deny the facts, they would question my stability. I'm fine, I said. I'm documenting work for an audit. Jenna folded her hands. Documentation is good. Obsession is not. I kept my voice level. Are you telling me to stop providing evidence? She smiled like I'd misunderstood. I'm telling you to be mindful of how you come across. Executive teams don't like conflict. I stood. Then they should stop creating it, I said, and walked out before she could label my tone. That night, someone tried to lock me out of the model folder. At 9:18 p.m., while I was at home running an updated scenario, my access failed. A red banner popped up. Permission denied. I stared at it, heart pounding, then called Priya. Priya checked her phone and swore under her breath. Your access was changed 15 minutes ago, she said. I didn't do it. Who can do that, I asked. Priya went quiet. Then she said the name neither of us wanted to say. Jenna. The next morning, Priya and I walked straight into Malcolm's office. I brought screenshots of the permission change log, time-stamped. Malcolm's face darkened as he read. This is interference, he said. I just want to work, I told him, and my voice cracked on that last word, which made me furious at myself. Malcolm stood. You will, he said. Hugo will see this, and Jenna will answer for it. For the first time, I felt something shift. Not hope, not yet, but momentum. Hugo Lynn moved fast. He pulled access logs from IT. He requested HR email trails. He interviewed dispatchers, warehouse supervisors, even Marcus. He asked the same question in 10 different ways until the truth stopped trying to hide behind wording. Sloane couldn't stand it. She called me on Sunday night, voice sweet, like we were back in childhood again. Arya, she said, can we talk like sisters? My chest tightened. About what? About how you're hurting the family, she said. Mum called me crying. She said, you're trying to destroy me. I closed my eyes. Our mother lived in Geelong and hated conflict. Sloane used her like a shield. I'm not destroying you, I said. I'm correcting what happened. You always do this, she snapped, sweetness gone. You always play the victim. You're jealous because I'm successful. The old words hit old bruises. For a second, I was 12 again, watching her blow out candles first and tell everyone I didn't mind. Then I breathed and spoke plainly. I'm not jealous. I'm tired. She went quiet. Return my credit, I said. Tell Grant the model is mine. Sloane laughed harsh. You think Grant cares? He cares about who can sell. He cares about who looks like leadership. That's me. She hung up. Another quick pause. What would you do now that HR is getting involved and your access was blocked? Would you keep pushing forward? Or would you get scared and back off to keep peace at home? Tell me your honest answer in the comments, because this next part is where courage looks boring, not loud. If you like stories where the revenge is clean and legal, let me know what you want to see next on Truevenge Chronicles. Are you enjoying the Melbourne setting, the workplace tension, and the way the proof keeps dropping? Before we continue, please type where you're watching from, and if you haven't subscribed yet, hit subscribe now. Your support tells YouTube to share this story with more people who need it. And if you were my friend, what advice would you give me right now? In one sentence. No long speeches, just your real gut. On Monday, Hugo scheduled the audit closeout presentation for Wednesday, 3 p.m., boardroom 12A, the same room where Sloan had taken my work, and the CEO had smiled at her. My stomach tightened when I saw the invite. This wasn't just an audit. This was a correction in the exact place the lie had happened. I spent Tuesday night at my kitchen table building one more packet. Not a dramatic file, a clean one. Timeline, access logs, deck metadata, rollout results, and a list of witnesses. I printed it, signed it, and placed it in a plain folder. Wednesday came with heavy clouds. I arrived at work early. Sloan was already there, walking the floor, smiling too widely. Jenna from HR avoided my eyes. Priya gave me a small nod that said, "Stay steady." At 2:55 p.m., I walked into boardroom 12A with my folder and my laptop. Hugo was at the front, connecting his device to the projector. Malcolm sat near the head of the table, expression unreadable. Grant, the CEO, arrived last, impatient, followed by the COO and head of sales. Jenna took a seat near the wall. Sloan sat near the front, like she still owned the story. Hugo began without drama. "Thank you for your time. This is the closeout for the Delivery Savings Program audit. We reviewed financial assumptions, governance, and reporting integrity." Grant sighed. "Just tell me if we're on track." "We are," Hugo said. "The rollout is producing early results aligned with the model's projections. That is good. However, we identified a governance failure that is not good." End quote. Sloan's posture stiffened. Hugo clicked to the first slide. Source, model, authorship, and access. My name was in bold under creator. A timeline bar showed creation date, edits, comments, and then a line. Sloan first access Thursday, 8:58 a.m. Hugo spoke calmly. The routing model was created and maintained by Aria Wexford, Business Improvement. Multiple operational stakeholders contributed comments. The model was not edited by Sloan Wexford. Grant frowned. Sloan said it was her plan. Hugo nodded. That representation is inaccurate. It misstates ownership of intellectual work used to set company strategy. Sloan opened her mouth, but Malcolm spoke first. "Aria built it," he said. "I reviewed the logs." Grant looked at Sloan. "Why did you claim it?" Sloan forced a laugh. "I didn't claim it. I led the execution." Hugo clicked again. Deck metadata and content origin. A screenshot of the deck properties appeared, with the creator device listed as Sloan's laptop and the created time at 11:03 a.m. Hugo highlighted duplicated screenshots and phrasing. The deck titled "My Delivery Cost Reduction Plan" was created after the executive meeting using screenshots from Aria's model, Hugo said. Aria's name was minimized, while Sloan's was positioned as primary owner. The room went quiet in a thick way, like everyone was trying not to be the next person who spoke. Then Hugo clicked again. Slide. Attempted access interference. A log line appeared showing my access revoked at 9:03 p.m., with the request originating from HR systems. Hugo's voice stayed calm, which made it colder. "This is significant," he said. "During an active audit, access to source documentation was altered. The change request traced to HR administrator permissions." Jenna's face drained. Grant's head snapped toward her. "Jenna?" Jenna stammered. "It was a misunderstanding. I was trying to reduce conflict." Malcolm's voice was flat. "You tried to block evidence." Jenna's eyes flicked toward Sloan, a tiny betray the alliance glance. Sloan stood. "This is ridiculous," she said, voice rising. "Aria is turning a family disagreement into a witch hunt. She's been unstable, emotional, and—" I stood too. My legs shook, but my voice didn't. "I'm not unstable," I said. "I'm documented." Grant raised a hand. "Aria, sit." "I didn't sit. With respect, Grant, this is the room where my work was taken, I said. This is the room where you thanked my sister for a model she had opened for the first time 30 minutes earlier. I stayed quiet to avoid drama. I did it the right way. The audit is speaking now. Hugo glanced at me, then back to Grant. That is correct, he said. We interviewed staff. They identified Arya as the designer. They identified Sloane as the presenter. Priya finally spoke, voice clear. Arya also prevented uncontrolled implementation that would have caused Zone East backlog. She protected the business. Grant's face hardened. He looked at Sloane like he was seeing her for the first time. You used your position to take credit, he said, and you pulled HR into it. Sloane's voice cracked with anger. I was doing what leaders do. I was making sure the plan landed. Malcolm leaned forward. Leaders don't steal. Leaders build. The words hit like a hammer. Grant turned to Hugo. Recommendations, he asked. Hugo read from his notes. Immediate correction of attribution in all executive communications. Removal of Sloane Wexford from ownership of the delivery program. Formal performance action for misrepresentation. Separate review for HR interference. Grant nodded once. Do it, he said. Then he looked at me. Arya, why didn't you speak up in the meeting? Because I was afraid, I thought. Afraid of looking emotional. Afraid of losing my job. Afraid of my own sister. Instead, I said the truth that mattered. Because I wanted the truth to be undeniable, I said. Grant exhaled. It is. He turned to the room. Effective immediately, Arya Wexford is the program owner and lead for the Delivery Savings Initiative. Priya will sponsor. Malcolm will oversee tracking. Sloane, you are removed from the program pending HR action. Jenna, you will step out of any involvement and report to legal. Sloane's face went pale. You can't do this, she whispered. Grant's voice was calm. We just did. That was the audit, correcting the room. Not with shouting, with facts displayed in light. After the meeting, people filed out quietly, avoiding Sloane's eyes. Priya hugged me in the hallway, quick and tight. Malcolm stopped beside me. You kept your head, he said. That's rare. I almost didn't. I admitted. He nodded. But you did. Sloane tried to follow me to the lifts. Arya, she said, voice shaking. You ruined me. I looked at her and felt something strange. Not joy, not hate, just clarity. You ruined you, I said. I just stopped covering it. 2 weeks later, Grant sent a company-wide email correcting the record. My name was on the program in bold. Sloane was moved to a non-lead role and placed on a performance improvement plan. Jenna resigned before the formal review finished. The rollout continued. By month 2, we hit the full cutoff shift and rebalanced 3 routes. Savings tracked at just over $6 million annualized, exactly as predicted. Dispatch stopped burning out. Warehouse overtime dropped. Customers stopped threatening to leave. One Friday afternoon, Malcolm called me into his office. He slid a single-page letter across the desk. Promotion, he said. Led process strategy, reporting directly to Priya, with dotted line to finance. You'll own governance on models like yours. I read the letter with shaking hands. Why? I asked. Because you earned it, Malcolm said, and because this company learned a lesson the hard way. That night, I drove home through Brunswick with the windows down, letting cool air clear my head. Mum texted, asking me to call because Sloane was upset. I called and told Mum the truth. This was never one plan. It was a pattern. Mum went quiet, then whispered that she hadn't seen it. I said, I see it now. Months later, Sloane sent a short message. I'm sorry. I didn't answer immediately, but I felt lighter. The boardroom had finally said my name with proof on the screen, and I was done shrinking. 3 engaging life lessons. Lesson 1. Document before you defend. Save version history, emails, meeting notes, and access logs while everything is fresh. Don't wait until you're angry. Quiet proof is stronger than loud accusations, and it protects you when someone tries to call you emotional or confused. Back it up in safe folders. Lesson 2. Separate family from accountability. Loving someone does not mean funding their behavior with your silence. Set boundaries in words and in systems. Controlled access, clear ownership, and written roles. If a relative crosses the line at work, let policy and audit correct it. When hurts, choose truth anyway. Lesson 3. Let results speak, but make them visible. A good plan needs a clean rollout, clear metrics, and regular reporting. When you track overtime, penalties, and customer wins, you turn your value into facts. Facts change rooms faster than charm ever will. Share credit openly and demand it back. Now, I want your opinion. In the comments, tell me what you would have done if your sister took credit in that boardroom. Would you confront her or stay quiet and let an audit speak? Also, tell me which moment hit you hardest. The stolen meeting, the HR pressure, or the proof on the projector. Write where you're watching from. And if these lessons can help your work or family life, try them this week.
Before you go, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next upload. Then head to the playlists section and binge the best episodes. Family revenge, boss revenge, courtroom twists, and quiet comeback stories. If this story hit you, share it with a friend who needs courage. See you in the next Truevenge Chronicles. Like the video to boost it in the algorithm and help more viewers find these emotional, suspense-filled revenge tales. Your support keeps this channel growing, week after week, story after story together. Goodbye.